So according to this page, you can see that there are about 7,863 psychologists registered in South Africa, of which 2,749 are clinical psychologists, and then the counseling psychologists, and then educational psychologists, industrial psychologists, research psychologists. I'm one of the research psychologists, but I'm not on this list. And then there are psychometrists, and then there are 1,296 registered counselors. So these are registered. So this just spread out according to provinces. So in Eastern Cape, you can see for yourself, and then Free State, Gauteng, KwaZulu, and something like that. So that is in South Africa. You can see that we have a lot of clinical psychologists in Gauteng, followed by Western Cape, maybe because Gauteng, because of the population. But there's also high population in KwaZulu-Natal, but you can see that there are 299 psychologists, but it's fine. We can, so, but I want to explain how to become a psychologist. So I'm using information that is provided by the Health Profession Council of South Africa. So in general, for you to become a psychologist, let's start by becoming a clinical psychologist. So usually, the 5 categories of being a psychologist, it takes actually almost the same time, although clinical can take longer. So what you need to do, it maybe in general, you need a 3-year degree or a 4-year degree. So some institutions, they offer a B-Psych, which is a 4-year degree, but very few institutions do offer that program. So usually you do a BA, of which you can major in psychology, and then you can do your honors in psychology. In most cases, from what I've researched, most classes, there are like 40 to 50 students at honors level, and then masters, the conversion is very high. Usually they take 6 students or 7 students. Of the 26 public universities in South Africa, only 16 offer the clinical psychology program. So it's very strict. The selection process is very strict. So you must be not only your grade, but your personality, your attitude, and the preparedness. I remember filling a referee report for some of my students. There's a question that, is the candidate likable? So I think there are a number of things that you need to be aware of before you want to. I'm recording this video because I have a lot of people ask me, but how do I become a psychologist? Or some of the people that go into the program at BA are not knowing how they become a psychologist. They realize that after 3rd year, they're not psychologists as they wanted. Even after honors, they are not psychologists as they expected. And then they realize that the selection process at masters is very, it's a huge thing in South Africa. So, but there's another also, okay, I don't call it another, registered counselors, they're also important. So you can do your 4-year B-Psych program, or you can do a 3-year degree, and then there's a Bachelor's of Science equivalent. So you can do that, so that become a registered counselor. So it takes like a year, and then there's 6 months, not 6 months, they use hours. So there's a practicum where you practice and then become a registered counselor. So there are also psychometrists. So most of the psychometrists that I know, they have master's degrees already, and then they go to Stellenbosch. So they do a 6 months kind of a practicum and course, so that they become psychometrists. So these are the major categories of psychology stuff. So it takes you, like I say, 3 + 1, that's 4. And then masters, let's say 1-year coursework, so that's 5. And then let's say you are very good. So 1-year coursework, and then that's 5. And then that is an internship, that's 6. And then community service, that's 7. So usually, let's say 8 years, can take you 8 years, depending on the institution that you are studying at, even for educational psychology, even for research psychology, even for industrial psychology, as well as counseling psychology, so that you become a psychologist. So don't say you're a psychologist before you complete your master's. So you become registered, there are board exams that you need to write, and then something like that. So I'm reading an article here that writing of national board examinations prior to commencement of community service to be effective on the 1st of January 2020. So meaning that you cannot proceed to community service before you write your board exams. So for those who are doing clinical psychology. And there's an exciting survey that I want to show you, showing, so according to the database of Health Profession Council of South Africa, they have 10,000 people under their 10,184 uh, people who were registered, previously registered under the Health Profession Council of South Africa. These are psychologists under the psychology board. Okay, so this survey only 2,645 parties responded, and then 2081 the final kind of. So these are interesting findings. So I'm recording this video just to encourage you, if you want to become a psychologist, what's out there, or do you know? So the survey says, well, we still have a lot of women or female, I don't know how to call it, 78.8%, and then male, still very few. I don't know why men do not become psychologists. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, you can explain that. And then also this ethnicity, black, colored, still white dominated, and Indian, Asian, something like that. And then the age, so the profession is having, I don't want to say old people, mature people. So we still need more people to join the psychology. If you believe in mental health, I think you need to join. If you want young people, so some of those things. So it depends on a number of things of what you want to do. Okay. You can also see that the qualifications, that's the BSAC equivalent degree, so that this one leads you to become a registered counselor. So most of these institutes, those people come from, who took part in the survey, they come from this, of the 392 people. And then the honors degree from here, and then the BSpsych and something like that. So I think we can be well informed in terms of what you, so the qualifications for the people under the HPCSA. So those with doctoral degrees, 17% of them are from University of Johannesburg, and you can see like that, and other institutions. And then the master's degree also like that. And then, yeah, so that's actually explaining what you do. And then what is important also to note, what do you do when you are like a clinical psychologist? So mostly they work with psychiatrists, and then they work with other clinical psychologists. They work with medical, 73% of the people work with uh, medical practitioners, and then social workers and something like that. You can see the educational psychologists, they work with teachers. So I heard that for you to apply for masters in educational psychology, you have to have a teaching experience. So I can check that on myself. I'm not sure. And then counseling psychologists, they work, this how you work with. So I'm showing you this so that you can be aware, so you can see, do you have the right personality, do you have the right attitude, and something like that. Yeah, I think I'll be posting more videos. I'll speak to people who are in the field, and then those who qualified recently, and then maybe they can tell us how they did it or whatever. I know there's no formula, but at least you can be well informed. So I wish you all the best. So I think this video was useful to you. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.